it must be like an exciting ride, right? We got these followers, we got these fans. Like how great, like how humbling that people love your music. What do you say to people that say something negative?
I love it too. I think it's showing that, like, for me, in my opinion, I think if you're praised all the time, you're not learning anything.
Right. Hey, this is Deb, and this is Happy Hour with Deb, and today, Cody is in the house.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. You too. You too.
So many wonderful things about you.
Thank you.
It is a pleasure to have you here.
I'm honored to be here.
Oh, thank you so
really.
much. Thank you. Well, you've been amongst some very cool people, and you're fabulous. So now, you know, we've only filled that chair with the best.
Thank you.
We have very high standards here.
I believe it. I believe it. We've been hitting it off before we started rolling,
That's
so
right.
I appreciate it a lot.
I feel like we could have recorded a whole podcast.
I know.
So let's tell the viewers some of the story. You're not from here originally.
Nope. I'm originally from Southern Colorado.
Wow.
Yeah.
So love of music. When did it start?
It's been a lifelong thing. It wasn't something I really pursued, I would say, until I got to high school. It was like my junior year when everybody figured out I could sing, and it's kind of a funny story.
I'm sure you were fabulous at 5.
Yeah, it was like a weird. I just had really bad stage fright growing up. So, you know, my mom and dad knew I could sing when I was young, and they tried to get me in choir. That's how we figured it out. It was kids choir, you know.
Right.
And but I just couldn't. I was also an athlete, so you had to pick which one at the time. You know, High School Musical wasn't cool yet.
Right.
So you had to. You had to kind of pick like.
So cool.
Yeah, it is.
Like
exactly.
You're like what people want to be.
Exactly.
Now.
Exactly. The transition is crazy. But my junior year, you know, is when I finally was able to be kind of out from under the blanket, I would say. But as far as my love for music, it's been something for as long as I can remember.
Your whole life.
Yeah.
Was your family music oriented? Usually people are like, oh yeah, my father always listened to jazz, my mother listened to country or whatever.
I would say so. My dad had a rock band when he was, you know, young, growing up my age. They actually cut a record, and I wouldn't say that was really the motivating piece by any means, but he also, what I think inspired me, or what I really enjoyed watching, was their like little cover band they had growing up. So I had the opportunity to kind of be exposed to that and just like the local bar scenes, and which is a huge blessing. And then my dad also raised me, in my opinion, on the best music, and that was classic rock music. So I was exposed to the Eagles. I was exposed to, you know, Boston, Journey, Bryan Adams.
At a young age.
Very young, yeah.
Yeah,
so it was great.
Incredible. So when did you start performing?
I would say that my first time really performing was, I think it was my true first performance was my senior year of high school, and it was during the prom assembly, maybe. I got up and sang like an acoustic song, and it, like I said.
Do you remember the song or no?
I want to say it was an original song, and it was called Feet Back on the Ground, but it was okay. You know what I mean?
Well, that took a lot of courage.
Yeah, well, it did.
In your high school,
yeah,
where everybody's judging everybody. And
absolutely.
That took a lot of courage.
It took a lot of courage, that's for sure.
Did somebody pay you, or like spike your punch? Like, how'd that happen?
I would say that it was pretty close. Like I had said, you know, my junior year of high school, the tail end of junior year, was when everybody in my school found out I could sing. And our choir teacher kind of found that out, and so she was like, why didn't you say that you could sing? And I told her because I didn't really want anyone to know I could. So I ended up getting this video on like Facebook. I was singing Hallelujah. And
I love
it
that
blew,
song.
yeah, it was great, and it blew up like overnight. This was right when I think I first got Facebook too.
Oh my gosh!
And
that's so funny.
I woke up the next day, went to school, and everybody knew I could sing. So I kind of didn't enjoy that publicity that I got from it, to be honest with you.
That's hard at
Yeah,
that age.
it was super weird.
Especially at that high school age where
Yeah.
we're all just trying to figure out,
Yes.
and the whole world's like, go to college.
Yes.
We're all just trying to fit in somewhere.
Absolutely. And so it wasn't until my senior year when my friends, my mom, some teachers were like, you should do it, you should sing. I got asked to play it, and I think I just said, why not?
Why
might
not?
as well.
Let's rip the Band-Aid off.
So that was
and
my
do it.
first real performance, I think, was my senior year of high school.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Why country music?
I just love songwriting, and I remember hearing my first country records with my uncle when I was probably around 12 or 13, and there was something about I just enjoy music, really.
Yes,
and
yes.
I'm a fan of every genre. I think that country music in general, between my voice changing especially, but the music itself is what I really enjoy. And
There's nothing like it.
not at all.
It's It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
As we were talking about earlier, I have a place on the East Coast. Now the country has kind of morphed into,
Right.
we all have this enormous love for country music, but for a long time, you never heard country music.
No.
In a major city that wasn't in the South. And it's such a cool thing to see how the music and the industry and the lyrics are how they just change people's lives, and everybody can resonate with the country song.
Yeah.
So I think it's just such a cool, but must have been hard to start at that.
Absolutely.
So was this your goal? Were you going to go into music, or were you and when you were a junior, were you like, I'm going to go into I'm going to study accounting at the local community college?
I would say not at all. I sang that song my senior year, and was like, I'm ready to put this to bed, put it behind me.
Right.
It's yes.
I hope nobody recorded it.
Yes, this is just a hobby for me.
Right.
And I was also really die hard into my football career as well.
What position?
I was a strong safety.
Okay.
So I ended
you
up
look like a football player.
Thank you. And so I ended up getting a scholarship to go play D2 college, and that was what I did. I didn't think twice about it. It was what I wanted to do. And I kind of I wouldn't say I saw my life just played out in front of me, but it was as far as music is concerned, especially from Colorado, which doesn't have a tremendous music scene.
Yeah, it's not a big music
Not really.
place. Yeah.
So I wouldn't have even known where to start. And, my journey itself is kind of a randomly happened situation, which is how I got here. But it was never the plan. So.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And here you are in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
You've been here 2 years.
Yep.
And you just packed up and left?
Pretty much. I mean, it was, I started playing my first gig ever. I got dumped, lost football from COVID, and that's what got me to start writing songs was we were cooped up inside in 2020. So I wasn't able to go see anybody because Colorado was a lot more strict than most places.
Yeah.
And so I just poured it all into.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's a country song.
Yes,
in
it
itself,
is.
Sir.
Yeah, yeah. And so I kind of I started posting stuff online and got reached out to by this Italian restaurant in my hometown. Said, hey, we're opening an outside tent. We'd love for you to play.
Wow.
And I had thought about maybe starting to play gigs, but I didn't know where to start.
Right.
And I was praying for some type of sign to get me back out into the world. Right. And the guy reached out to me. I lied to him, said I'd played gigs before just so I could lock it in. And June 5th of 2020 was my first gig, and it was in an Italian restaurant.
Wow. And we're still heavy in COVID at that point.
Very, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very different gig in Texas, the COVID thing, than it was in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Philadelphia, they just locked people out for years. And
right.
in Texas, they're like, mask if you want to, but you don't really have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it stifled a lot of people.
It definitely did. And I think really, I was lucky enough that for how it shaped out for me when I look back on it, I really think that, contrary to what it did to the the bigger pros, it shut everything down for them touring wise. It opened a doorway for me where it was like, you know, whether they were afraid to play, you know, they were too big to play a small venue.
Right.
Venues were calling a guy like me.
You know, it's funny. I never thought of it that
Yeah.
way. When people talk about writing and creating a lot during COVID because you were stuck in, I never thought about it that way. That
Right.
opened a gateway for, you know,
Yeah.
new artists.
Absolutely.
That's incredible.
At least the smaller ones, you know,
Right.
like I was getting offers to play true music venues, music halls before I was ready, for sure. I mean, but what it did was it got me into the spider web of the network, and it was like I was meeting buyers, I was meeting venue owners, I was meeting managers of venues who knew other people that were also trying to find people willing to play music.
To the many is to
Yes.
the one, right?
Yes. And so, you know, and also people were still wanting to go watch things.
Absolutely.
So I
think more than ever, people were
Yes.
like,
I
as
need
a
somewhere to go.
Society, we've never just been shut down like
No.
that before.
No.
It took a huge toll
Yes.
on people.
Yes. So it was kind of, for me, I felt like all in all, it was, I was growing a crazy network already.
That's
I was
so
building a
great.
real fan base, you know, the real stuff.
Right.
And then once things started opening again and bigger artists were like, we're starving, we've got to go play.
Right.
You know, they'd roll through my hometown, and I was the first call to be like, hey, would you want to open for so-and-so or so-and-so? So I started opening for big artists before I probably should have, but you know, at the time of that time of my life, I had ultimate courage. I mean, it was, what do I have to lose type of mentality? Because you know, so I was, but I didn't know the etiquette that I know now of like not really going and, you know, talking to the artist per se, but I just didn't know. So it was, you know, I was going up to him saying,
there's those kind of little things in every business.
Absolutely.
Right? And until you get your feet wet, you don't know.
You don't know.
How would you know?
Yeah. It wasn't until I had, you know, someone's manager tell me, hey, that's not how things are done. But that was way later. And so before that, you know, a lot of these artists were very willing and open to let me talk to them for 10 minutes about,
great.
you know.
That's what I love about
yes,
country music.
100%.
It's not a cutthroat, it's a help the next one along.
Yes.
I just think that's the beauty of country music.
Absolutely.
Is that they're humble and they love to collaborate and they want to see somebody small grow big, and in life in general you don't find that. You know?
Absolutely.
See, probably the only industry, well, one in music and two in the world that isn't out for you know, I love that it's not a competition. We all want to win.
Yes.
I think that's such a beautiful, it takes a special person to fall into that too, because, you know, we're kind of hardwired to go hard, to make the most, to be the most, you know?
Absolutely.
And I think that's just so beautiful about country music. Is that they're so inspiring to other people.
Especially the old school way. You know, I know that we have the TikTok way that has changed the industry a lot.
Absolutely. Social media.
Yes. But
Let's talk about that for a second.
Absolutely.
Do you do your own social media?
I do.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a job.
It is.
That is a job.
I don't have another job specifically because of that.
Right. Every artist. I don't know if we've met an artist yet that hasn't done their own. I mean, most do their own because, well, one, it's crazy expensive to hire a marketing team to do it, and two, it's a job.
It is a job.
So you edit
everything.
Post.
Yep.
Wow.
I learned how to edit video, Photoshop, like all of that stuff to save money, but I also found a love for it a little bit too. So I create all my own show promos, and then you know, because I am thankful enough that I have, my bills are paid because of how many shows I play.
Right.
And I get a lot of great opportunities, but some of my friends here in town that struggle, you know, it's like, I'm like, I'll help design your cover arts, whatever you need for free.
Yeah,
you know,
I love that.
Yeah, so it's
Everybody
but it's awesome.
wins.
Yes.
I think that is amazing because it is, and it's consuming. So
Yes.
how many hours a week do you think with the social media?
I don't know. I overheard you talking about you don't make any more money working 24 hours a day. I have found like that's where I need to learn to pull the brake a little bit, because I have a hard time stopping. And these last 3 years that I would say I've been doing it full time, I have not taken one break. I'm always kind of just like looking for the next.
Well, it's a numbers game.
It is.
And it's so funny because now we've become a society that is so, I mean, listen, I love me some TikTok. I don't go on it because I will go down a rabbit hole quicker than anybody you know. But we've become a society that's part of our entertainment in our life. And it's really how names get big.
Absolutely.
And I know it's a struggle. So let me ask you this question. What's it like to get, it must be like an exciting ride, right? With all these followers, all these fans. Like how great, like how humbling that people love your music. What do you say to people that say something negative?
I love it too. I think it's showing that like for me, in my opinion, I think that like when somebody's commenting to you that it sucks or whatever, I think it's more that your music, it's showing that it's, because if you're praised all the time, you're not learning anything either.
Right.
So,
and you know what? You're not a badass till you have some haters.
Right.
You're not.
Exactly.
You're not even a rock star till you have
Absolutely.
haters.
You're not creating enough controversy. Somewhere.
Exactly.
You're doing something wrong.
Somebody tells you suck, you're a rock star.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think mentally, if you're not, I think mentally it will sometimes take a toll.
Yeah.
And it's a learning process how to be okay with that. But I really think that it shows that you're doing something right. You're growing it feels weird, but you are growing in some way, shape, or form. And I don't know, it means you're finding your tune too.
Yeah,
like
your
you can't please everybody, so
right,
I
can't please anybody,
yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, it is very true. What's the nicest compliment you've received on social media?
I think that it's when it's personal. The love comments saying like, I lost my dad, so like however long ago, and for some reason your song has made me buy into that and relive his memory. Or, I have a lot of young fans too, and there's one kid in particular, his name is Asher, and he's been going through a lot of health problems. He's really young, but his mom reached out to me and was just like, he just loves your music, like wants to listen to it 24/7. It helps him get through his treatments. And I ended up getting to meet him at a show. He came to one of my shows, and at a time where he came into my life at a time I needed it most.
Wow.
And at that,
divine intervention.
Yeah. And I think that when you start to, you mentioned followers and all of that stuff, I fear sometimes for the industry when it's all we're looking at is the data.
Yeah,
and we're
agreed.
completely forgetting that those individual numbers are still human beings that, we wouldn't be in the positions we're in if it wasn't for them. And I've been lucky enough to be out on the road meeting those data points.
Yeah.
And it's become a lot bigger than me, knowing what our music is doing for somebody's life.
Right. I mean, music is what brings people together, and memories are built around music. So to have somebody, especially somebody young, who's suffering, that is, you've done your job.
Yeah.
You've definitely done your job. So you've been here 2 years, 10-year town, is what I'm hearing. How was the transition from moving, and what are you doing differently? I mean, obviously you're here, and do you perform on Broadway? And
so the reason I moved here was I signed a development deal 2 years ago. Craig Campbell discovered me in Colorado. I opened for him, and he kind of was just like, have you ever thought about, moving to Nashville? And I told him, no, I've never thought about it. And he was just like, well, let me, kind of ask around. He said, I'm a fan. I think that you need to be there.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And so I went into moving here with extreme confidence. Like I'm having a country icon legend that's
Right.
achieved so much tell me,
Right.
hey, you could do this.
A household name.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
I was like, okay, like
It's gonna be easy peasy.
yeah,
Lemon squeezy.
I know.
Right?
It was a matter of really just convincing my parents at that
Right.
point. And so, you know, they finally, I quit my construction job. I told them I have to do this. I don't know what it was, you know, like you mentioned, divine intervention. There was something that was like, if I don't do this now, I'm going to regret it forever. And so my parents.
The worst thing in life is
Yes.
looking back,
Yes.
thinking what could have been.
Absolutely. And I might as well. I mean,
Why
just make the
not?
jump.
That's
so
it.
so I moved here. I didn't know anybody besides Craig and like some of the people that he kind of introduced me to, which, you know, he's an artist in his. I moved here expecting that like I'd be with him all the time,
Right,
and
right.
you know, just this weird.
We're gonna be besties.
Yes, and it's I forgot that it's like, hey, you know, has his own career,
It's a
and
business.
you know, he's on the road to
Right.
record, like he's doing his own thing at a lot higher level than I am. So when I moved here, I didn't really know anyone, and for the first like 2.5 months, I was just so nervous to let my wings go,
Right.
and so finally they were like, you need to go
You got a network.
do something.
Yeah.
So I started just going to Broadway. That's all that I knew that existed here in town, which, you know, if you know anything about Broadway, could think of an individual guy at 23 years
can't
old
even imagine.
going to Broadway every day for 2 months.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it was,
Right.
it was,
Especially not being from this kind of
yeah.
city.
Oh yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
intimidating.
It was very intimidating.
But networking is so important.
So
in this
important.
industry.
It is
You
the
know?
business.
It is, and it's a full-time job
Yes.
also, like the social media,
Yep.
because everybody's here trying
Yes.
to be the next Jelly Roll.
Yep.
You know, so it is. The networking is. So how's it going?
It's great.
Yeah,
it really
I
is
love
great.
it.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
I mean, we talked about, you know, our mutual Carissa, and
She's fabulous.
she is awesome. Like,
She is.
just, I know that it's there's a feeling I think you get when you know you're kind of meant for it to happen because of the people that you've surrounded
takes
yourself with.
Incredible care
Yeah.
of her clients.
Yes.
Like almost like a family.
Yes.
Every single one that I've met, and it's such an honor to have you here, every single one has the same kind of really cool warmth and like nobody's pretentious or so she does a great job.
Absolutely.
She really does. So, and it's important too. Like to make sure you're landing with the right people.
Absolutely.
You know, do you have a manager?
I do have a manager. I am on my second one already,
How
which is
scary
crazy.
is that?
It's scary.
Yeah.
It's
like I'm gonna put my career in your hands.
it's relinquishing things. And my last manager was awesome too. He got an A&R job at a big label, and you know, he just started elevating, and so we just made the decision that it was like, hey, you know, you need to focus on that,
Right.
because that's gonna in turn hopefully help me succeed at some point.
Absolutely.
But he's got a journey of his own, and
Absolutely.
you know,
That's a beautiful way to look
Yeah,
at it. You know,
yeah.
no sour grapes.
absolutely not.
It's just yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I was told a long time ago when I first moved here, you don't ever want to burn bridges here in this small city.
It's a small city.
Yes, it is.
Yes, we had Autumn Sage was on our last
Yeah.
run. Great sweetheart she is. And she's like, you never speak bad of anybody in this industry because it will come around that quickly.
Yeah.
Like it's a small town.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And everybody's working with somebody that everybody knows. And,
Absolutely.
You know, it's insane. So you moved, the transition was good, things kind of took off.
Yes.
So what are you doing now?
So now I've so you
Besides your own social media.
yes. So you had mentioned earlier, you know, what do I play Broadway and all that stuff? I don't really do Broadway anymore. I kind of made the decision that I was like, if I'm going to spend 4 hours gigging or doing anything like that, I want it to be a little bit more of a payoff. So I just decided, hey, you know, I could be here on Broadway and play and make, you know, $100 or whatever it is for
Right.
4 hours singing someone else's songs. or I can go schedule writes and start writing songs every day for 4 hours. And I decided that that was the better route, and it was a good decision. I thankfully, get enough good paying gigs, playing shows all throughout the country that that's helpful. I'm able to do that. Not a lot of my friends get to do that. And so, I know how lucky I am. That's stemmed from how much I was playing in Colorado and kind of that old school route that we were talking about earlier. I think I was kind of that last little seed right before the industry has changed into it's all about social media. So
right.
I also recognize the value of playing shows. And
absolutely.
Yes.
You need people, if you're writing songs and you're an artist, it's worthless if nobody hears them.
Absolutely. I mean, even if you're the way I look at it is like, even if I'm playing some, little dive bar in Kentucky.
Never underestimate the power of a fantastic dive bar.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
A lot of people have made careers from playing dive bars.
And I've had die-hard fans that have gotten me big opportunities because I just met them that night, and you don't know who they are.
That's right.
It's amazing.
You never know who you're standing.
It's amazing.
I know. It's great, and you have such a great personality. I'm sure that the networking part kind of came easy.
Thank you. Yeah, it seems like that. Yeah, I think it's I don't know why. There's just like that infectiousness or whatever.
Yeah,
but
that's great. That is great.
I'll take it.
Right. It's a good gift. That
yes, it is.
Is a good gift.
Yes, it
to
is.
be blessed with. But it is so true. So tell me 5 years from now, what do you see?
So I think for me in particular, with the way things have been going, I really do believe that I can land a big slot. My goal truly is to tour with my good buddy Corey Kent. Okay. I met him last summer, and he became a really good mentor for me, current friend. Like, he's having tremendous success with his own career, but he's also doing it in my opinion, the way that I would want to achieve it. So I've really latched onto him. That's my goal within the next 5 years, is to grow my socials and following and numbers enough that I'm worthy enough to go tour with him and, his camp and stuff. They've really gone to bat for me in a lot of ways.
That's amazing.
And,
that's why I love that industry.
Absolutely.
Take care of each other.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So you're gonna stay here in Nashville.
Yeah.
So,
no plans to leave.
Yeah, I mean now you like it. Kind of. Tennessee's a beautiful state.
I love it.
It is so beautiful.
It is so beautiful.
I love the people here. It very much reminds me of Texas.
Yeah.
It's very like-minded, but the people are just so friendly.
Absolutely.
And even the visitor, coming in off the planes, we were down here for the CMA Fan Fest, and it was like 40,000 people coming in, But there was still this feeling of safety and camaraderie, and everybody was good. Who's your favorite artist? Who's the most inspiring artist that has resonated with you?
the one that hit me the most, current artist, was when Luke Combs dropped his first album. And I was in high school, probably, that was 2014, 15, something like that. So I was a freshman or a sophomore. And something about that album, I can listen to it through and through, made me a huge fan of current country music. Because I grew up more on the 90s, 80s, early 2000s country, which I still believe is the best country music. Absolutely. I'll die on that hill forever. But that was that particular record was the one that got me into, like, wow, this is storytelling with great melody. And I mean, Luke Combs is, some people might have mixed feelings about him, whatever, but between him and I would say like Cody Johnson, those guys just did it the right way. They stayed with their band their entire career. They were very loyal to you talk about a good team surrounding you.
Yeah,
They've stuck with their guys. Yeah. And
because we really are only as good as the people we're surrounded by. That's why it's so important to pick
Yeah.
your tribe, you know?
Yes.
It's the people that will lift you up when you need it and escalate. You know, it's
Yeah.
so important to have a good team.
100%.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
You can't. People. I'm like, it's the team. You
Yes.
know, you build a brand, and then the
Yes.
team is the brand.
Well, and that's something that I've, tried to get my own because that's what I've told my band. My band guys in particular I want to give them as much as I possibly can.
Same band you work with all the time?
Yes.
So I know a lot of artists will switch
Yes.
bands. Versus
I do my best not to do that. The only time that is when they get a better opportunity.
Right.
And what's awesome is they're like hesitant to be like, I don't want to leave you. And I just tell them, go,
That's
dude.
a relationship. We want us all to win.
Yes.
Right.
They have something that I can't provide you. And,
Right now.
Yes.
Right now, you will at
Yeah,
some point.
exactly.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so, yeah. I want a tour bus. I do. I want
I
an
do
Eagles
too.
Green tour bus.
I'm getting a van this spring, so I'm like,
Woohoo!
that's a
Big
huge
step
milestone.
up.
Yeah.
That is a huge.
It's going to change everything.
What's your favorite place to play that you played?
Oh man, I really enjoy playing in Florida. I don't know what it is about it. The people there are awesome.
People in Florida.
There's a country music scene there that is unbelievable.
Huge.
So I love playing there. I've played the ranch there a couple times. And I enjoy it every time.
I was at Crash My Playa last year.
Oh yeah.
Okay, first of all, it's the funnest damn thing ever. I want you to play there, because if I'm going, I want
All right.
to see you play there. But I have to go, more than half are from Florida. You know, they
Yep.
do have a big country
They
music
travel.
scene.
Yeah.
They do travel, and to go there, people, that might be the only vacation I've had in 10 years.
No doubt.
So it really is, and just the whole 5 days is just silly. But I had the pleasure of meeting Bailey Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Backstage, and the energy on him, I'm like, God, you should just bottle him.
Yeah.
Like, bottle his. And I had the pleasure of meeting Jelly Roll backstage, which was another, and you all have the same warmth, which I think is just so much fun.
Yeah.
So how many shows are you playing now?
I've tried to always make sure that I was playing 100 a year. I played a lot of big shows this year. And that was my first time really experiencing the radius clause things.
What's a big show? How many people are we talking about?
I played my first real arena with Trace Atkins this summer, 10,000 people.
Wow.
It was awesome.
Well, you've come a long way from
Yes.
that little shy boy that didn't want to sing.
I know,
choir,
yeah.
right?
But
10,000 people.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
4 years ago, I played my first acoustic gig at an Italian restaurant. I said that
that's
earlier.
great.
So
But there is nothing better than country acoustic.
my gosh.
It's the best.
Yes.
It definitely
I love it all. And that's the crazy thing. I've played all types now. I've played festivals where it's like 50 feet away from the audience and you're also like 14 feet off the ground. I don't like those ones as much.
Right.
I'm so distant from the crowd and I don't like that. So I don't know. It's finding that balance of, I know you got to try to achieve it all, but I know what I like and what I don't like. And you talk about like the don't underestimate a good dive bar. I'm going to hold on to that because you said that and I was like, that is so true.
I am not, I mean, for every of course, as an artist, but for every aspect in life, never underestimate a good dive bar.
Some of my best shows.
Yes, and I've met some of the most incredible people, and they usually have the best food, and they obviously have the best entertainment. It is, I'm a dive bar girl.
Yes.
For 100% sure. Give me that over the Ritz-Carlton any day.
Yes. No doubt about it.
Never underestimate the power of a good dive bar.
Yes.
What's your fan base like?
It's great.
Is it all like younger girls?
It's everything. I
gotta get a picture of him for my niece. My niece Sadie is 12. She's gonna be 13. But every guy that comes on the show is like, no. I'm very lucky. I think my fan base is definitely. I made a point to myself not that I think there's anything against like the cruder side of there's a place for it all. Right.
And there's a crowd that resonates with that too.
Absolutely.
I'm just not that guy. You're not going to hear me cussing on stage. You're not going to see me flipping the crowd off, flipping the cameras off. I'm not going to cater to that just because that's what's popular.
Right.
You know, I'm going to find the crowd.
That's got to be hard for an
It's hard.
artist,
Yeah,
I imagine.
it is.
Because like the social media, like we want instant success. We really, you've done it beautifully though. Bravo.
Thank you.
I mean, you really have. The story is incredible, but I think to stay authentic to who you are is what gets you the long time
Absolutely.
audiences that will come back and see shows after shows after shows.
Absolutely.
As opposed to, you know,
Yeah.
seeing you one time here and then,
Yeah.
you know, moving on to the...
Well, I've had labels, you know, tell me before, two things in particular that have stuck with me was, you know, they asked about my headliner ticket sales. And I'm like, well, I've sold 2,500 headliner tickets as for just my show.
Right.
They don't believe it. You know, they're like, and I'm like, I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Right.
And then the second one that stuck with me, you know, you talked about it's got to be hard sometimes, was I was told my ego wasn't big enough, so they don't want to work with me.
Wow.
And I was like,
Isn't
okay.
that a blessing? That's
It is a blessing.
though.
Yeah.
That's why I love country music.
Yeah.
It's a, like, you don't...
Huge blessing.
And it doesn't seem like you're the kind of guy with your, you know, being in sports and with your family that you'd ever be that guy.
No. I my mom would smack me in the mouth if I was.
Right.
So it's like I couldn't even if I wanted to be.
Right. Well, that's good parenting.
Oh,
Dive
yes.
bars and good parenting are the key to life.
No doubt about it.
Yeah. So it is. It's crazy. So 5 years, we're going to see you. You're going to get a tour bus.
Yes.
We're going to see you. Can we come for a ride on the tour bus?
100%.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I can't even tell you what an honor and a privilege. Guests like you make my heart happy.
Thank you so much.
Because I know you're going to be a big success, and it is such a great thing to see authentic people and then building a career and writing and performing around what they believe is just right.
Yeah.
And I think that is so amazing.
Thank you so much.
Can I ask you just one more question?
Absolutely.
Will you come back so we can follow your career?
Absolutely. Next time we could do this one on the tour bus. We'll do it on the bus.
Absolutely. I want like a John Madden tour bus. Like,
That's
I don't want them like...
Oh, yeah. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, like I want, like, you know how he didn't want to fly John Madden? I'm an enormous football fan. So I'm like, they cater to him. Like, that's what I want. I want a John Madden.
I gotcha.
Or I don't care. You can cook a turducken on that thing. I don't even care. But I just think what a cool way. I always tell them, they're like, I'm like, we're getting a tour bus, right? Do I not say that, Trevor? I'm like, how much longer should we get a tour bus? How much
Absolutely.
longer should we get a tour bus, right? And they're like, just sit in your little chair, Deb. You're gonna be okay. But it is fun. But we would love to follow your career.
Absolutely.
We are so honored to have you.
I'm honored. Thank you.
We can't wait to do it again.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.